Pay attention to this young woman. She doesn't look frightened. She doesn't look rushed. She doesn't look like someone who has only 20 minutes left to be seen alive. This is 6:47 p.m., March 12th, 2022. The lobby of the Redwood Inn, Ostrava. A ceiling-mounted CCTV camera, labeled LO2, captures her in a flat, fluorescent frame. She enters calmly, shaking rain from her coat, adjusting the strap of a gray canvas backpack. She checks her phone. Just a quick glance, a small smile. Nothing in her posture suggests danger. Nothing in her expression reveals fear. To anyone watching, she looks like a guest waiting for a friend. Her name is Elena Marková, 22 years old. She came here to meet a man she knew only from the internet, a man who said he was 43, friendly, and into photography. At 6:48:03, she steps into elevator 1. The doors close. And here is the detail that turns this routine moment into a crime scene. No camera ever recorded her coming out. This frame, this ordinary, silent second, is the last proof that she was alive. By the afternoon of March 12th, Elena followed her usual Saturday routine. Library drop-off at the KDM community branch, groceries from the small market on Nadrazhny Street, a canned latte for the walk home. CCTV footage shows her at 15:21:44, relaxed, joking with the cashier about the weather, smiling. Her last message to her mother, sent at 16:02, read, "I'll be home late, meeting someone about photography." There was no worry in her tone, no fear, nothing unusual. But by the next morning, her mother would realize that this ordinary day had stopped exactly where the cameras did. That coffee cup timestamp later became evidence item 3B. By 9 a.m. on March 13th, Elena's phone had gone straight to voicemail for 12 hours. Her mother, Ivana, called repeatedly. No answer. At 09:14, Ivana used the spare key hidden behind the electric meter box and entered her daughter's apartment on Sokolska Trida. Everything was in order. Bed made. Books stacked neatly. Laptop closed. Groceries still untouched. Only one detail broke the pattern. Her phone charger was still plugged into the wall. Elena never left without it. And her gray canvas backpack, the same one seen on CCTV, was missing. At 09:32, Ivana reported her daughter missing. The call was logged as incident entry IE-1247. Patrol officers arrived at 10:06 but classified the case as non-urgent. A standard procedure for adults with no signs of conflict or mental health risk. Ivana insisted. She wouldn't disappear. Something happened. Protocols follow rules. Mothers follow instincts. That forgotten charger became the first contradiction. By the afternoon of March 13th, police performed routine checks. Hospitals, taxi records, emergency call logs. Nothing. At 17:12, her phone pinged once near Stodolny Street, then never connected again. The single ping anomaly was archived as DES-6. Her bank statement revealed a 1,200 CZK hotel authorization the previous evening. Officers went to the Redwood Inn. The receptionist remembered her. She kept checking her phone. Looked like she was waiting for someone. Without hotel management present, officers could not retrieve CCTV footage. With no evidence of foul play, the case remained at the lowest urgency level. But something else happened that night. 2 failed attempts to log into Elena's email at 3:17 and 3:19. Critical hours often pass unnoticed, until it's too late. Someone tried accessing her account after she vanished. Police misjudged the case. Elena was an adult. The single phone ping suggested voluntary movement, and there were no early indicators of coercion. What looked routine was anything but. On March 14th, Ivana returned to Elena's apartment with her brother Marek. Ignoring instructions not to disturb potential evidence, he booted the laptop using a recovery workaround he found online. Inside the browser logs, they found the username, Northlands 43. Messages from March 10th. I'll be in Ostrava this weekend. Want to meet in person? Can show you the new lens. Elena. Sure. Saturday evening works. Ivana photographed everything and brought it straight to police. Families often uncover the first real lead, before detectives even begin. The username would become the investigation's turning point. By 16:55 on March 14th, Detective Peter Riho was assigned to the case under case file CF-22-741. Emergency access to telecom records revealed Elena's last outgoing message at 18:32 on March 12th. Here, coming in now. Cross-matched with hotel authorization timestamps, this confirmed she had entered the Redwood Inn minutes later. With management present, detectives secured full CCTV access. As Detective Riha began reviewing footage, Ivana waited outside the precinct, holding the strap of Elena's backpack, mirroring her daughter's last recorded gesture. Digital footprints form the skeleton. Human traces give it weight. Detectives froze the frame. Elena entering the elevator. No footage of her exit. At 19:18 on March 14th, detectives reviewed the critical footage. Elena enters elevator 1 at 18:48:03. Hashtag at meta pause. Sex 0.5. She is never seen exiting. Hashtag at meta pause. Sex 0.5. Elevator system logs show stop at floor 3 at 18:48:21. Stop at basement B1 at 18:49:50. But corridor cameras on both floors show no sign of her. In his report, Detective Riha wrote, Subject enters lift 1. No visual documentation of exit on any level. One building. Dozens of cameras. And yet, a human being vanished between two doors. Cameras record movement. They do not record absence. Hashtag at meta pause. Sex 0.5. The third floor stop became the first unexplained gap. Hashtag at meta pause. Sex 0.5. Cyber investigators traced Northlands 43 to a prepaid SIM registered with false identity, a virtual debit card issued in Hungary, 2 older missing person cases with similar contact patterns. A hotel guest in room 312 recalled muffled movement around 1850, but nothing more. Evidence was building, but only indirectly. Suspects often appear long before they are seen. The virtual card was used to rent a car hours before the disappearance. On March 15th, detectives obtained rental logs from Northridge Rentals. A black Skoda Octavia was rented at 1612 on March 12th, under the name Daniel Kovac. Fake documents confirmed. License plate recognition cameras recorded the car entering the hotel garage at 18:30. It exited at 19:07. Basement camera B04 captured only the rear of the vehicle, no view of passengers. A service door near the basement elevator was found slightly misaligned. If someone exited through it, they would bypass all main camera corridors. Soil found later in the Skoda's trunk matched a remote forest area. On March 16th, forensic teams examined the third floor. Faint depressions on the hallway carpet near room 308. Luminol revealing transfer patterns consistent with a supported body. Partial mitochondrial DNA from a service room handle. Sample 22M19, matching Elena's maternal line. In the basement, cadaver dogs gave a strong alert near the misaligned service door. Inside the Skoda's trunk, technicians recovered fibers identical to Elena's coat. So far, everything pointed to movement, transport, concealment. But one detail broke investigators emotionally, while remaining scientifically cold. At 1918 on March 14th, detectives reviewed the critical footage. Elena enters elevator 1 at 18:48:03. Metapause. Sex, 0.5. She is never seen exiting. Metapause. Sex, 0.5. Elevator system logs show: stop at floor 3 at 18:48:21. Stop at basement B1 at 18:49:50. But corridor cameras on both floors show no sign of her. In his report, Detective Reha wrote, "Subject enters lift 1. No visual documentation of exit on any level. One building, dozens of cameras, and yet, a human being vanished between two doors. Cameras record movement. They do not record absence. Metapause. Sex, 0.5. The third floor stop became the first unexplained gap. Sex, 0.5. A forensic pathologist, reviewing the early findings, noted, "There are no defensive wounds on the victim's hands, forearms, or fingernails." Hashed meta, pause, sex, 0.5. This meant something devastatingly simple. In the first crucial seconds, Elena did not fight. Not because she couldn't. Hashed meta, pause, sex, 0.5. But because she didn't understand she was in danger. Hashed meta, pause, sex, 0.5. She believed she was still talking to the same friendly man she had trusted online. He used her trust, her natural human instinct to see the situation as harmless, as the very mechanism to control her. This single forensic observation often devastates viewers more than any violence could. The tragedy is not how she died, but that she didn't even realize she needed to resist. Hashed meta, pause, sex, 0.5. Some of the cruelest crimes begin with kindness. Hashed meta, pause, sex, 0.5. That trust became part of the evidentiary chain presented in court. Hashed meta, pause, sex, 0.5. On the night of March 16th, the prepaid SIM tied to Northlands_43 connected for 7 seconds near Luchin. A nearby petrol station camera captured a man buying gloves and bottled water. A forearm tattoo, partially visible, matched images from an old social profile. Name: Tomasz Vrabel, 43. A history of coercive behavior reports, never charged. Arrested, March 17th. Interrogation timeline: I never met her. She left the hotel on her own. I only walked her to the elevator. His laptop contained deleted chats arranging the meeting. The Skoda's GPS exposed a remote forest road. On March 18th, search teams focused on a wooded region near Darkovice, guided by coordinates extracted from the Skoda's GPS. A search radius of 2.4 kilometers was established. At 14:32, a volunteer from the Moravian Rescue Group noticed disturbed soil beneath a cluster of birch trees. Cadaver dogs alerted. Shallow burial. Clothing consistent with Elena's last seen outfit. Her gray canvas backpack lay nearby. Phi, meta pause. Sex, 0.5. Autopsy report. AR-22-109 concluded. Cause of death: asphyxia via ligature compression. Estimated time frame: evening of March 12th. No defensive injuries. Discovery ends searching but begins acceptance. The forensic timeline was now complete enough for prosecution. Hashed meta pause. Sex. 0.5. By November 2022, prosecutors presented the full chain of evidence at the regional court in Ostrava. CCTV timestamps, DNA profiles, GPS logs, digital chat reconstruction, soil composition matches, behavioral analysis. The forensic conclusion that Elena had no defensive wounds. The defense attempted to argue the absence of a direct camera recording, but the chain of evidence was complete, precise, continuous, and damning. And then the prosecution revealed the one detail that transformed this case from a disappearance into something far darker. A motive. Through recovered chat logs, psychologists identified a pattern. Tomasz Vrabel had a history of seeking out younger women online, presenting himself as older, calmer, more experienced, someone safe. He built trust, then control. For him, it wasn't about chance or opportunity. Sex, 0.5. It was about power. About creating situations where the other person felt they had no reason to fear him. Where resistance felt unnecessary. Where trust became the perfect weapon. The prosecutor summarized it in a single sentence that made the courtroom fall silent. He didn't need force. He needed her to believe him. In his verdict, the judge stated, "The evidentiary timeline forms a continuous thread. The only reasonable conclusion is that the defendant committed the acts described, deliberately and with calculated exploitation of the victim's trust." On November 22, 2022, Tomasz Vrabel was convicted of murder and unlawful confinement. Sentence, 27 years. Sex, 0.5. Trials reveal motives, but they cannot repair consequences. Sex, 0.5. The truth becomes official, but loss remains personal. On December 3, 2022, Ivana entered the lobby of the Redwood Inn. Meta pause. Sex, 0.5. The same tiles. Meta pause. Sex, 0.5. The same vending machine hum. Meta pause. Sex, 0.5. The same elevator bell. She stepped beneath camera L02, where Elena once stood. For a moment she placed her fingers on the call button, then withdrew her hand. Meta pause. Sex, 0.5. The elevator display flickered. 1848. The minute that had divided her life into before and after. The camera recorded her standing there, quietly. A mother in the same frame where her daughter disappeared. The elevator doors closed on an empty cabin. The building hadn't changed. Only the person who walked into that elevator never came back out.